Pulisic dentro, Rafa. Gol! Ebram! Gol! È l'azione più bella del mondo! È l'azione più bella!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Torgrud.
I am here. Sorry. Wow, that's a good way to start, huh?
Well.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm
Yeah.
dropping like Arthur from Red Dead Redemption 2. Sorry. Anyways, that's a joke from like 2018. I don't know if people should know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll know that one. See, the GTA 6 map stuff is looking... If we ever get the game, it's going to be really, really good.
Neither of us will play it.
I don't even have a console. I keep telling myself that I'm going to buy it and maybe I'll give EAFC or FIFA whatever a go, or like I'll get back into Red Dead or whatever, and then I think, no, it'd be terrible for my productivity, so I'm not going to do that. Also, speaking of productivity, I know an area that we've been slacking. We need to get that intro and outro changed because Tammy's no longer here. So yeah, by next week, we'll have that new.
Well, if we score...
We could do with a big goal. Yeah, we could do with a big goal and shouting Nkunku or whatever, just something. Because a lot of the stuff from last season, those players are gone. The Reinders goals we can't use, and anyway, we'll figure it out. We've got a bit of a quieter episode this week, at least compared to last week. It's the international break, because Maddie's gone. Just can't stop that boy yapping, can you? International break, and it's the second week of international break, which means that we haven't got a game to recap. We do have one to preview, which is coming on Sunday. There are a few doubts about that particular game in terms of who's going to be available and how we're going to play. So we'll talk through that, and then we're going to go listener question heavy this week, because I often say we don't have time for many questions. I'll answer more in next one, blah blah blah, and sometimes I forget. But this week we're going to do it. We've got I think 7 or 8 questions to go through. So we'll do that. And that's a good way to whiz through some of the more topical stuff that perhaps we don't always mention. But before we dive in, thank you to our Substack founding members. I'm going to read it in reverse to reward the new names. Andreas Klang, Abdulaziz, Ibrahim, Gianluca, Medicare, Ken, Roberto Racinos, Michael Villela, Tarek, JT Physio, Mike Schulz, Heavenly 13, Derek Favretto, Nasser Carlo Fassi, Rajat, Raul Escobar, Luke Villano, Mats, MJ, Kemin, Joey Gawler, Moritz Pullman, Tito Mack, and Des Windsor McGlynn. Thank you for all of your support. As we now say goodbye to the window and we fully enter a new season, there's going to be quite a bit more variety over on the Substack. We're not just going to be talking about targets and signings and things like that. We get to talk about actual football on the actual field, which I'm really looking forward to. But over the past week, again, I'm going to do a main slot plug here for Isaac's financial breakdown of the 2025 summer mercato, how all the operations impact the budget, ingoings and outgoings. He spent an awful lot of time on that because there were so many operations completed. So I'm urging everybody to go, and you can try 7 days for free, so you can check that out and see if you like the other stuff. The most recent bonus podcast that we did was player profile on mostly Adrien Rabiot, to be honest, and then we did 30 minutes on him and then 10 minutes on David Odogu at the end of that, the last 2 signings of the 2025 summer transfer window. And then there's a newsletter on there, and the pub chat was a Mercato rant from Lorenzo and Stefano. So as I say, looking forward to getting into writing about actual footballing things and not just collapsed striker deals mainly. Let's go then. We got Bologna to talk about first and foremost. Revenge, bit of cup revenge in the air. Do you feel that? Do you feel that at all? Do you remember that game? Does anybody really care anymore, or are we well up for it? Let's butcher these.
All of the above? I mean, if you think about it, we beat them 3-1, and then 5 days later, lost the Coppa Italia final 1-0. If you told me at the beginning of the season that we had to win one of those games and lose one of those, I would not have picked the order that it played out. So I definitely would have said, hey, let's take the trophy instead. They won. I don't know when their last trophy was. It their first Coppa Italia?
Oh, it was their first, since the 50s, I think.
Something crazy like that. Yeah. I mean, good for them. Great story. Sucks we were the victims of that. So can't feel too happy for them. In terms of this season, we are identical in the table. 1 win, 1 loss, 3 points. I think we are still above them. Doesn't really mean anything at this point of the season, 2 games played. But their big signing, Ciro Immobile, is out, so he's already hurt. So is Hars Jashari. So again, identical. We both have oval-shaped logos. Everything's the same around here.
I was going to mention the shape of the badge.
It's
and like
the same
cross.
thing, just reversed. Or no,
Yeah,
the same side, right? Yeah,
yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Do they have a thick line down the middle or a thin line?
They do have a thick line. Yeah.
Maybe they changed it recently. You need to be on the lookout for the old Bologna logo to correct everybody. Let's do a bit on Bologna's business since you kind of led into it there. As you say, probably the biggest name that they signed was Ciro Immobile on a free transfer. They also brought back Federico Bernardeschi on a free. He's been in the MLS with Toronto, and I don't know how he's done, to be honest.
I think he was hot in the beginning.
Right.
But I think they got over him pretty quickly.
Okay, great. So that feels a bit of a strange one. 2 30-plus-year-olds that they've kind of brought back to Serie A. We'll see what their output is. No doubt Bernardeschi will now score against us. The most expensive signing actually is a little bit of a subplot that we should talk about because it could be a debut for both the players that are involved in this subplot. John Rowe signed from Marseille for 17 million euros. Predominantly a winger, but I think he played left back quite a bit for Marseille. Formerly of Norwich, he did really well over here in England, and then he got that big move, and then got that big fight.
Yeah, John Rowe had a row.
John Rowe, more like.
Yeah, exactly. With Adrian Rabiot, and as we know, he went to Milan. So, don't know if they ever squashed their beef, but we will find out on Saturday, Sunday, 14th.
Yes.
Oh, that's a bummer. The 14th. Damn. I was hoping to be Saturday so I could watch football, American
football. Good morning, football.
Good morning, football. Yeah. Damn, that's a bummer. 2:45.
One week of the NFL's enough for me. The New York Giants remain utter shit, and the Bears lost last night. So
we beat the Giants. So
I've
been a Commanders fan for 13 months.
So. How did your real team get on? The Cardinals.
I think they also won, actually, but they were, for the record, never my team. I've never been a Cardinal supporter in my life. So big
Cowboys guy.
Nope.
The next signing, Martin Vitic from Sparta Prague. Now, he's actually been spoken about as being a really talented centre-back for some time and about making that leap to a big European league. They got him for 11 million. Be interested to see how he does. Nadir Zortea came from Cagliari. He scored against us last season, didn't he? So that's worry. Right back. They signed Torbjorn Hegem from West Brom. Don't know much about him, but they've paid 7.5 million for him for a championship player, championship centre-back. Interesting. And Nicolo Casale, another centre-back from Lazio, 6.5 million euros.
He's out.
He's out, yeah. Pobega's out also. As of this morning, he's sustained some kind of hip problem, I think. They signed him on loan with an option to buy. And Ibrahim Sulemana is the other loan signing that they got, defensive midfielder. So he might even take his place from Atalanta. So Bologna have done what they have always done under Sartori, which is they scout jewels. They tend to keep them for a year, and then they go, and then they spend a lot less on their replacements. And I'd say so far it's worked out all right for them. You know, they got a Champions League place season before last, which was obviously amazing. Last season, they ended that trophy drought, so that was a positive campaign for them, regardless of where they finished in the league. And we'll see how it works this season. But one thing I will say is this season, I think they've taken an even bigger risk with their recruitment. But we shall see how it plays out. I mean, they're the kind of club that are always going to have quite a high player turnover. I'm just looking at their exits here. They got over 70 million combined for Dan and Doy and Sam Boykema to Notts Forest and to Napoli. They sold Ehrlich, they sold Urbanski, not for as big fees. So, yeah, it's the way they are. I mean, I guess their squad depth, based on the fact they lost 2 big players but have brought in quite a few who could challenge to start. The squad depth has probably improved a little bit there. And, yeah. Is that San Siro, though? Make you feel a little bit better?
Is the Corva back? Are they going to be back with banners and whatnot?
Well, they haven't really announced it yet, but the fact that they went back for the Lecce game. They were
Yeah.
there for the Lecce game. Makes me think possibly, but there's some distinction that needs to be made on whether they're only going to do it for away games because their problem is with how they're governed at San Siro, or if
Right.
they're actually just like they're now allowed their flags and banners again, so they're just going to support full stop. We'll find out. I can imagine on Thursday they will make their stands clear. Kind of mad that we're like waiting to see if we're going to have a good atmosphere or not, because otherwise it's going to be like a church.
Yeah, I think they should just show up, you know?
Yeah.
It's not about them. Like they're protesting something about them. They're not protesting the team. Protesting their own treatment. It's like show up, support the team, you know?
Well, they can. I think that's part of the problem is that a lot of the ones that they want to show up have had their season tickets restricted or have been denied ability to buy them.
Right.
I think apparently the compromise that got offered, and I don't have any confirmation from inside Milan on this, but there was a report saying that a compromise that got offered was that they allowed certain members to buy tickets in different sections of the stadium. They just weren't allowed in the second blue tier, which is where they are.
And they will do that.
They should take it what round?
Yeah, I was gonna say we've all been to San Siro, like no security. you
can
can
do
just sit
it.
where you want to sit. Like
Yeah.
it is so difficult to get in because you need ID and all this stuff. But once you're in, I mean the concessions line isn't even a line. You all just huddle around the beer stand and it's pretty wild. But like
there's like an outer gate and then the inner part, and once you through the outer gate, you're basically in and you can go anywhere.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a wasteland.
That wouldn't be my advice officially from SempreMilan.
Always follow the rules. Always
follow the rules. They're there for a reason. And then there's some selection censored. There's some selection doubts for us as well. It feels like 3-man defense is going to stay no matter what. So the back 4 players, Maignan, Tomori, Gabia, Pavlovic, will remain set. Estupinan and Salamakers should also remain set. The rest is up to you. What do you want to do? Are we playing a 3-5-2? Are we playing a 3-4-2-1? Are we risking Leao and Nkunku, who might not be the most fit? Pulisic and Jimenez have flown or will have flown 15,000 kilometers by the time they get back. Midfield, we've got about 6 players for 2 or 3 roles. It's don't pick itself, this team.
Yeah, and it should. like there's a very clear strongest 11. The problem is you have to play a 4-3-3, which means you have one attacking sub for the entire season. Because we have 4 forwards and that's it. I hate everything about it. But I think we're going to probably start with Leao, Pulisic up top. And then I would imagine Nkunku comes on for Pulisic at some point. I know he stayed, obviously, at Milanello all break. So I don't know how he's done, how he's looked. I haven't seen anything or heard anything from Max, obviously. So if he comes out and says, oh, yeah, he did fantastic during the international break, like, I'm really excited. But the comments from when he signed were not that. So
yeah,
it was like, hey, he probably isn't going to get a start right away. I can't imagine that Santi starts after the Lecce game. I just don't see that happening again. So I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to be Rabiot Modric. That's a double pivot that I just don't like, but I feel like that's what it's going to be.
Feels pretty immobile, doesn't it?
Yeah. For the best way to line this up is a 4-3-3. You drop Pavlovic. You have the 2 fullbacks. You probably don't do Salamakers as a fullback at that point. You would do De Winter or an Anthony or whoever the other guy is that we signed. I already forgot his name. Odagu or
Odagu, yeah.
I don't know. One of them. I can't remember if it's a U and then ends in an O or if it's an O and ends in a U.
Odagu.
Okay.
Took me a while as well to figure that one out.
I don't know who plays right back. Could even be Tomori. I have no idea, but that's what we should do in a perfect world. And then the midfield 3 would be Ricci holding Rabiot, Modric on either side for box to box, and then you got your Leao, Nkunku / Santi, and Pulisic. And then, honestly, off the bench, you have either Nkunku or Santi, and you have Salamakers now as an extra winger who could play either side. Like,
funny you mentioned that. I'm going to screen share a second because this is funny. This is funny.
It's either backing me or it's slandering.
No. It's Gazetta's predicted lineups for the game. So obviously it all looks fine,
That's
doesn't
Tom
it?
Eckers twice.
Yes, they do, and they've got him up front as well as right wing back. Which is excellent. I mean, look, we can ask him to do a job covering a lot of space, but I think covering 2 positions is a bold ask. And as you said, he can play right wing back or he can play further forward. So there you go. You got your wish, Gazette. I agree with you. Yeah, I reading. Oh God, I can't remember which report it was. I can't remember the source, but they were saying that basically because Leao is not yet back in full training, and we need to see if he does that tomorrow or not. He's almost certainly not going to start, unless he comes on and you've only got 60 minutes of him, and that's like the pre-agreed thing. Nkunku admitted in his interview with Dazen that like he's not close yet fitness-wise, and therefore he can't start. So the choices are basically obligatory. It's going to have to be the 2 lads who have covered the most distance during this break, but may not be the worst thing in the world because those are the 2 players that definitely have at least an hour in them. And then you can bring on 2 players who will inject a lot of energy in theory and probably can play 20, 30 minutes. So maybe it's like a good thing that the choices are forced, but you'd of course rather have Leao from minute 1, given how he's looked in pre-season and stuff. And then I think it'll be that midfield 3 because Rabiot has only played once this season, and that was in that first game, and he's been pretty much shunned since then. So he will also take a bit of time to get into condition. That being said, there's some possibility that he starts for France tonight. Deschamps kind of hinted at it and getting him some minutes. So if he does that, then I guess he'd be proving that he's fit enough. So we'll see.
Did Leao go to Portugal or no?
No.
Okay.
He's been working even on days off, but the media always do this thing where they run with that, and they're like, this injured player was in on their day, but like the days off are for the players who do full training. Like players still come in for their therapy and stuff if they're injured.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but they always do it as if it's like he didn't have to be there or whatever, when that is just not the case.
I too schedule my doctor's appointments on my days off.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. But fingers crossed that Leao is back in full training, because if he comes back tomorrow, then I think there's half a chance that he could be fit enough to do it. But with it being a calf problem, also don't want to risk it even 1%. We've missed him for those first 2 games, and I think any kind of longer absence, looking at the games we've got coming up in like a few weeks, we've got a murderer's row schedule. Yeah, don't want to risk it. So we'll see.
We have Napoli after this, right?
Yeah.
And then Juve. Oof. And in between that, we have a cup match. Yay.
Lecce as well. So our fixtures are obviously the Bologna one. Oh, we've got Udinese on 20th of September, Saturday night. Then we got Lecce in that cup game. So that's not too bad a back-to-back. Then we've got Napoli at home, Juve away, Fiorentina at home, Pisa at home, Atalanta away, Roma at home, Parma away, Inter away, Lazio at home. That is a rough old schedule. When is
the derby?
That is on the 23rd of November. And I believe that has now been confirmed for the Sunday night. They did all the way. For once, Serie A have been organised and they've done all the dates and times up to, I think, like round 14.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, end of November, I believe they've done it up until, which is good. But yeah, that's a tough run of games. You don't get easy games. I think kind of Cremonese showed us that. Like if you drop your levels, you can get beat by anybody. But at the same time, yeah, you're looking at that and you're thinking, Fiorentina. You're thinking Napoli, Scudetto favourites, Juve away. Obviously, can be a tough game. Fiorentina come to San Siro, Pioli's revenge. Atalanta away. Juric always seems to do a number on us. Roma, the Gasparini thing. There's too much emotion in all those games for me. I don't particularly like it. But anyway, that's why it's so important to win this game on Sunday. Because if we're on 6 points after 3 games, and I'm jumping ahead of myself a bit here, but say we win the game, 6 points after 3 games, we're on 2 points per game. 2 points per game generally gets you top 4. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we're kind of back on course for the minimum objective after that horrible first game defeat. So it is important that we get the 3 points.
And Juve Juve Inter is Saturday.
It is, yeah. It'd be nice for them to draw or both lose. Some kind
Yeah.
of points deduction.
Yeah, that works.
I think I'd rather. Can't believe I'm saying this, but
Juve's on 6 already, Inter's on 3. So
I was going to say I think I'd rather Inter win that because there seems to be more doubts about Inter at the moment than there does Juve, and Juve, started pretty solidly. But yeah, draw would be fine. We've got to win first and foremost. And do you know what? I think we will. I'm feeling okay about this one. I think that Vincenzo and Italiano sides are tough to play against, but they give you a bit, and they do give you a bit of space. I know in the cup final we didn't score, but we had big chances that we spurned. We put 3 past them a few days prior, with substitutions making the big difference there. They have looked okay this season. I think they looked pretty good against Roma in round 1, but lost that one ultimately, and then bounced back with a win. So they're on the same record as us, as you mentioned. So I think it'll be an odd goal that does it for us. I'd like to see another clean sheet, but I don't believe it's going to happen. Therefore, 2-1 to us, and the winning goal will be scored by Leao off the bench.
Ooh. So I went back and looked at both the Bologna's games against Roma and Como. And against Roma, obviously, they lost 1-0, but they never really had any momentum in their favor up until the end of the match. Probably a late push for something that failed. But the Como game is interesting because they obviously won that, but very similar. They did not have much momentum. They actually scored against the run of play with their only big chance of the match. So I'm curious to see how that actually translates. When they play a team like us. Obviously, Roma's a good team, as is Como this year. I think we all predicted Como to get some sort of European football this season. So
yeah,
Bologna's had a tough start to the season, and it's only going to continue that way for them.
well,
it does, yeah, exactly. It does
it makes
lead
it easy.
me, yeah, it does lead me to believe that we should be able to get a win here, but never say never with this team. So I think 1-0 is probably realistic again, and I'll give it to us. I don't know who scores it. Let's say Rabiot. We'll go Rabiot goal.
Oh wow, I'd like
Yeah.
to see that. Yeah,
After drawing a red card from Rowe.
That's got to be the thumbnail. Them in a boxing ring, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the team that Bologna named for that win over Como, which I actually think is impressive. They kept a clean sheet against a team that we all think could be above them this season. The back four had 3 new players in it in Zortea, Vitic, and Hegem. So that's something. You think they're going to take a bit of time to gel, but they've conceded 1 goal across 180 minutes. So yeah, they lost 1-0 to Roma. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Freuler and Moro in midfield. I'm liking more and more what I see of Moro. That was a tough one to say. Orsolini, we know, set piece threat. Cambiaghi on the left. Fabian, who we were linked with, that would be an interesting one. And Santi Castro up front, who I believe hasn't scored since March. So there's a little bit of pressure on him now.
He did have an assist, though, in this game.
Yeah, good spot. In terms of subs that they brought on, Lukumi at half-time. I can't believe Lukumi's been displaced. Now, whether that was because there were rumours of him leaving, but then you wouldn't risk him by playing him for a half if you thought that he was close to departing. Odgaard came on in the 10. Pobega, who's obviously injured now. Delinga, not a bad backup striker to have. And Juan Miranda, I'm surprised he's been displaced at left back by Lico Giannis, even though I kind of like Lico Giannis. And yeah, so interesting. We've made our predictions. Let's see what happens. Before we do questions, just a little quick international roundup, because I think we should mention 2 players above all. Firstly, Alexis Salamakas, 2 substitute appearances and 3 assists in 57 minutes. Now, granted, Belgium won both games 6-0. One against Liechtenstein and one against Kazakhstan. But yeah, it was in the second game in particular, really impressive assists. In the first game, it was a nice little backheel drop-off, I think. And then the second one, he did really well in setting up De Bruyne. And then he laid one off right on the edge of the box for Meunier to fire in. So yeah, he's doing well for club and country. He's knocking on the door of a starting spot for Belgium. And I know that people are now thinking they're not what they were. And I think that would be fair. They've got quite an aging core in that sense. But Salamakas could be part of the new wave. And, he's impressed there, and that's good to see because he started the season for us full of confidence, and he will only continue it. And he comes back without having started either game, so should be fresh. And Luka Modric, 40th birthday today, which is wow, we've got another 40-year-old playing for us after Zlatan, but played captains, started obviously for Croatia last night. I've forgotten who they played against. Montenegro. And he played for 80 minutes in that game, and he got an assist, and he drew a red card. So positive for him. But afterwards, out on the field, there was a nice little, called it like a surprise party thing, where they got the fans to show their appreciation. His family came out onto the field. It was his 190th international game. Fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Most players don't even get to like 50.
No, that's crazy.
But yeah,
Croatia's not an easy country to break into either. I mean, obviously this is Modric. Like we know
it's his generation.
His career. Yeah, but impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he did mention that. There's a good interview which you can check out on our site, of course, where he spoke about the players that he's kind of come through with that have helped him make this their golden generation. And now it's about handing it off to some of the younger guys, and one of them is Sucic, of course, who he played alongside. And
do we think he'd play the World Cup this summer?
He's saying yes. He's saying
Messi's saying no.
Yeah,
we both know he'll show up.
That must be in his MLS contract or something. Like you have to play in the USA World Cup otherwise. But we'll see. Messi kind of makes his own rules. But I think Modric can do it. It's just that seems to me like why he would do this year with us is just to stay playing at a decent-ish level, but one game a week, and make sure that he can do that tournament when it comes around. And it might be that he's already announced his retirement by the time that World Cup comes, and that is his last hurrah, and whatever happens, happens. But of course, we've got that extra year option, so we will see. But Moretto did say in his recent Mercato roundup that it will be 100% Modric that decides whether that option is taken or not, which is totally fair. He'll nearly be 41 at that point. So, yeah. Wish I was like him now, and I am 11 years younger than him, and my knees crack when I get out of bed.
Oh boy!
So yeah. All right, let's move on and do some questions. Then feels like this is a good way to round up on some of the topics that we maybe haven't touched on. Shubes starts with an interesting one. Seems like every year we craft this narrative as to why this will be the year that Leao fulfills his potential. Is this fresh start under Allegri his last chance to prove he can be the main man? Personally, don't think there's anything wrong with seeing him as a world-class accessory and not the man bagging 25 goals a year.
I also don't have anything against that idea, the world-class accessory thing, but I do think he is the main man for our team regardless. You know, was he not? He wasn't top goal scorer last season. Pulisic was, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So, but they've been relatively close, and I think a lot of the question marks around Leao being the main man is because Pulisic's done so well since joining in terms of numbers and output. But I mean, the eye test doesn't lie, right? Like we see what Leao does, what he's capable of. The frustration is from the lack of goals, but they're still there. It's just we're not hitting that 20 goals a season mark. And can he do it? Probably. I mean, we've seen headers enter his game. Up until this season, he had 2 his entire career, and he already got one this year. So, granted, it was against Bari in the Cup, so it doesn't actually...
2 in preseason as well, though.
Yeah, exactly. So we are seeing it more. And if he could add that to his repertoire, and now that he's supposedly playing as a main striker, well, we might see a lot more out of him. Who knows? But yeah, this probably is his last chance to prove that he's that guy. But to me, he already has. But I understand the people who have doubts around it. This probably is the last chance for him on that.
Yeah. I mean, last chance at what is he 25? 26. Saying last chance at 26 does feel a bit premature, but it isn't that. It's the age at which his explosion came for us. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I people obviously think about him in that Scudetto winning season for obvious reasons. He was a driving force in that. He scored some important goals. He won the MVP award as well for the league. So he was officially the best player in the league that season, the season that we ended a title drought. His next season was better. 2022-23, he added 4 goals. He was on 23 goal contributions in 35 league games there, which I think is pretty good. And I think that's where people were thinking, all right, he's on a big upward slant here. You know, he's gone 6 league goals, 11 league goals, 15 league goals. Assist output remains solid. Thinking, right, he's on his way to becoming a 20-goal player. But then the last 2 seasons, he's had 9 league goals and 8 league goals. And also in that 2022-23 season, he was massive in the Champions League run. You know, we saw what he did to Napoli, for example. And I actually rewatched, someone did a video of our run to the semi-finals of the Champions League on YouTube. And I rewatched it yesterday while I was at a loose end. And I remembered how good he was even in the group stages of that. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, he had that rise so early that the pressure's on. The pressure was always on for Leao, not only to maintain that level, but actually to raise it. So when there was a bit of a drop-off, it became way more noticeable. Now, I think the mitigating circumstances in his favour are solid ones. You know, the entire team in 23-24 just felt not great. I think the Pioli effect had kind of worn off by then, and Pioli had given him an awful lot of freedom, as we know. And then last season, he played under 2 coaches who were his compatriots, and neither seemed to really get him. So that didn't help him either. But he didn't score a home league goal last season, and like that's something that I can defend him on all those various things, but he needed to do a bit himself too. The thing about why there's so much media attention on this upcoming season in particular is because he's 26, so most would consider him to be entering his prime, but also because there is no excuses from a coaching point of view now, because Allegri has come in and made it very clear from day one that he will build this team around him. So all of the conditions are being manufactured in such a way, and no major tournament in the summer as well, you know, so like full time on the training ground and all that. I know the early season injury doesn't help, but he will be back soon. All the conditions have been created for Leao to succeed. So now the ball is in his court to do it. You know, I think even playing as a sort of striker, whether you call it a shadow striker or whether you call it, you know, playing with 2 up front, so they're playing off each other, whatever that might be, he's going to be playing closer to goal. So the output needs to be there. Less will be required of him defensively, naturally. I think that Allegri's style can certainly bring out the best in him in terms of springing quick transitions and things like that. So everything points towards this being a good year for Leao. So now it has to be. That's why I think it feels a bit different this time. I don't know if you agree.
I don't know either. Yeah. I don't have anything to build on it. Yeah.
I think it's just like, finally, you've got your proven world-class coach. But it doesn't necessarily, might not work that way. Who knows? We could be in 2 months talking about an Nkunku Pulisic top front 2 that is ripping it up.
It's also not like Allegri's known for crazy attack, you know?
No,
so
that's true.
Is he the type of guy to get the best out of a forward who is very unique, you know? I don't know. Allegri does prefer some pragmatism and allowing them to do what they want, which I think is what he needs. But at the end of the day, Allegri is a defensive coach, defense first. And if he said Leao doesn't have to drop back, then I think we will see more offensive output from him, which he has said. So,
yeah, above all, touch wood for good luck, stay injury free. Because I think if he gives us, 30 plus games, then his output's going to be there anyway, naturally. You know, it's been in and around top for goals and assists every season, regardless. But yeah, with this, we just want to see that jump to being a 20 plus goal man. Darren Torres asks, where do you rank Rabiot in our midfield? Does he walk straight in? And who would be his competition? What is our best midfield grouping?
Yeah, I think he does walk straight in, mainly because he's just Allegri's guy. Allegri knows he understands his style of play. He knows that he can slot in, and he doesn't have to teach him anything. Whereas Fofana, Loftus-Cheek, even Jashari, Ricci, and to an extent Modric, he's got to teach everyone what they want. Obviously, Modric is one of the greatest midfielders to ever exist, so picked it up pretty quick. He's not falling off the team sheet anytime soon. But Rabiot slots right in, and who does he replace? Probably Loftus-Cheek, I would say.
Yeah.
I think that's the most like for like. And until Jashari is healthy, which could be, 8 months.
So they're
Could be a long
talking
time.
the same potentially early November. He could come back for what would be an important stretch of games.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I think he'll be out until after the winter break, to be honest with you.
How long's he been out since? It was while I was away, wasn't it? About the 25th. So, yeah, they did say 2 to 3 months. So I think it's more likely to be 3 months. So that would be the start of December.
Honestly, I don't have faith in that either. I do think it'll be January, but if he gets back in December, great. But until then, I think it's probably going to be Rabiot Modric because we're doing this double pivot thing. If not, it's going to be Rabiot, Modric, Fofana, probably. I would prefer it to be Ricci, but it sounds like Modric. I saw a report, and I don't know if it's true, but Modric asked to be the holding midfielder.
Yeah, that's what Tuto Sports said.
Yeah.
Would it surprise me if they had that conversation, honestly, and Allegri said, where do you see yourself best? And he said, playing a little bit deeper. It wouldn't surprise me if that discussion has taken place, but it does seem to move the pieces in an awkward way, whereby now, where does Ricci fit? Or is the answer that he just doesn't? He has to learn from Modric for a year, and then we reassess things. That is possible. I think we're going to keep playing with a 3 just because the midfield's our biggest strength, and to only play 2 out of the 6 options that we have at any one time feels a bit mad. Well, some are saying 3-4-2-1 and stuff. I just don't see it. If it were up to me, that Bologna, maybe not the Bologna game because of the Rabiot thing, but the game after that, providing that everybody is in 100% shape and all those kind of things, I would play Modric, Ricci, Rabiot.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the 3 that I go with Ricci in the middle as the deeper line player. Then when everyone's back, wide open in it. It could be Jashari, Modric, Rabiot. Who knows? I'm hoping that Loftus-Cheek makes himself undroppable because he scores 4 goals early in the season or whatever. It feels unlikely, but competition for places is important. You don't really want a midfield that picks itself. You want different combinations to be able to turn to based on different games. But yeah, that's the 3 that I would be playing soon. And then when Jashari comes back, given that it's going to be like 2 months minimum, you'd have to see who's in form at that moment. And it might become very obvious who to drop. Lutz, which of the new signings would you take for a pint?
Of the new signings? I mean, I guess Modric. That's the only one I would want to sit down and have a conversation with. Whatever. Just not interested. I guess. Is that bad? I mean, I don't know.
My headphones have disconnected, so just give me 1 second.
Okay. Well then, let me just slander every player on the team. Ricci not interested in getting a drink with. He's a little young. I don't know. Nkunku, I've never had a crazy draw as a player, so it doesn't do anything there.
No.
Couldn't even name all the defenders we signed.
Atakame.
I don't think Atakame or Udogu are allowed to drink in my country.
They're fine in Italy, but not in your neck of the woods.
And I'm not going to Italy, so they're coming to me. I think it would be Modric, honestly.
Yeah, Modric got an answer in. Modric got a vote in the chat, shall we say? Probably Rabiot, and just.
I don't want to get punched.
The fight. Ask about the fight. Oh, we go fighting.
Yeah, he knocked me out.
That'll be a fired up night, man.
Yeah.
The story behind that fight is unbelievable. The one about the youth player stood to one side shaking because he couldn't understand what's going on and stuff. It's so funny. I need to find that tweet. If I remember, I'll link it in the description, but it made me really laugh. Shiza, with Mignon most likely leaving at the end of the season, do you give Torriani the number 1 spot or sign someone else? And where do you think Mike would go?
Did I miss something? Why is he leaving at the end of the season?
His contract's up.
Oh, can we not renew him?
It sounds difficult.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, unfortunately, this summer was the summer to sign a new keeper, but then Vanya went to Napoli, and where did the other one go?
Who is the other one?
The other one we were linked with from Serie A. What is his name? I'm totally blanking.
Well, we were linked with Zion Suzuki. He ended up
Yes,
staying.
he stayed. I was
Yeah,
with
so
them.
yeah, he's been the one linked. Moretto said that we're keeping an eye on him if it comes to it, kind of thing. Yeah, all right. So you want to keep Mike based
Yeah,
on that answer. What would you offer him in order to convince him to stay? Because 5 million net was apparently the offer on the table in the spring that then got pulled back because of his bad performances and probably because we knew we were going to go through a big managerial overhaul. Would you just offer that again?
Yeah.
And if he didn't accept it, would you be willing to make him the highest earner?
depends on how the season goes. I mean,
But we don't have that time.
yeah,
You need to get it sorted before
that's true.
Christmas. So
Okay,
we've
well, if
backed
by
ourselves into
Christmas
this corner.
we are, yeah. If by Christmas we're top of the table and we have, say, 10 clean sheets, 11 clean sheets, something good,
Yeah.
then hard to say not worth it,
And he goes, it's 8 million now.
and go, okay, well, 6.5.
Mr. Suzuki. Yeah, I'm still like on the fence about the Maignan renewal and if it's going to happen. I think if we do it, given his age and given his patchy form last season and his injury problems prior to that, I don't think we should break the bank to keep him.
Yeah, but what was the stat I put in the chat yesterday, just randomly, that had nothing to do with this conversation?
Don't know.
Mignon had the 5th most minutes in world football last season.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
oh,
the
yeah.
injuries are behind him. He's
Last
fit.
season. Yeah,
Yeah,
I said patchy form last season and injuries prior to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, he was up and down last season without a doubt. He really struggled in
Sure.
Jan and Feb, I think it was, which was like where our season fell apart. So
Which is when they pulled the renewal from him.
Yeah, it's true. It's true though.
Yeah.
Look, so that's it. I think Maignan, if you renew him, it has to be sensible for all parties, which I know is a bit of a cop-out answer, but we have no idea how that contract might look at the moment. I get a feeling that 5 mil doesn't get it done anymore because he can leave for no transfer fee. And this is me answering the second part of the question. Chelsea will just sign him on like 8 mil, 10 mil a year. And they've got
That's
him.
probably true. Who did they end up signing this summer? Chelsea? Didn't they? I mean, it doesn't matter. They'll sign 20 players every year. So
Yeah, literally. I mean, the big one from the market is gone as well. Donnarumma went to Man City, obviously.
Yeah.
And PSG, there was some talk about PSG bringing Maignan back, but they signed Chevalier from... Yeah, so, I don't know, maybe there isn't a ton of, like, available...
That's the other issue. But it's a replaceable position, And I know everyone's obsessed with building out of the back right now, but I think Allegri sees it differently. I don't think that's the most important thing in the world right now. You don't have to be good on your feet as a goalkeeper. He wants someone who could read the game, and if you could build out the back, great. But if you're seeing a lot of pressure, then you know that someone else upfield is available and just bomb that shit long. Like, it's a simple game, guys. Get the ball to the guy who's open, put it in the back of the net.
Yeah. That being said, what we've seen from Suzuki so far in Serie A and what we've seen from Torriani in his friendly appearances for us, they are both quite modern goalkeepers. Both quick off the line, both good with the ball at the feet, that kind of thing. Do you know what? I'm gonna say I'm in favour of Torriani. He's 20 now, so like if you're never gonna give him the chance, then why is he still here? Kind of thing.
And he could start.
I know it feels incredibly daunting to go from Maignan to Torriani, but I don't know. Yeah, you either do that or he goes. It's that simple, sadly, at this point. He seems to be the one out of the long list of goalkeepers that we've had, young goalkeepers, Lapo Nava, Noah Rivera, Longoni, I'm probably missing one. He seems to be the one that has risen all the way to the top and is like clear above them. So prove it. Like if Maignan goes, give him the starting spot. Otherwise, you're going to have to spend probably 30, 40 mil on Suzuki. And can we not allocate that in other positions? We've spoken so many times about how you don't even really need an elite goalkeeper. It's about what's in front of them that matters.
Mhm.
As long as they're functional to the way that you want to play, then you're fine. And Torriani looks like a good shot stopper to me as well. So
I mean, he did play a Champions League game last season against Liverpool, who, everyone knows how their season went last year. And look, we lost the game 3-1, but all 3 of the goals came when Mike was in, not when he was in. So,
and the one thing about Torriani that would worry me slightly is just his build. He's quite wiry, and I don't know if that
he is, yes, but he put on some muscle this summer.
Right, yeah. I've not seen him topless, but if you do that in your spare time, that's fine. Hossam Diwan. Hossam Diwan asks, what did Deschamps mean by saying he didn't give much playing time to Rabiot with the national team because of what happened at Marseille? Does he mean as a disciplinary measure or because his fitness is off because of the exclusion? And why not leave him to adjust at Milan if he wasn't going to use him?
Yeah, I think it was disciplinary.
Bit of both, innit?
Yeah.
So I think if because would Rabiot be a starter anyway? Probably.
But who else is their midfield? I really don't know.
Tchouaméni, Camavinga. They've got a lot of midfield options to France, admittedly. But I think Deschamps does like Rabiot. He likes his guys, without a doubt. But I think that if he thrust him straight into the starting lineup after he's played one game for Marseille, then got in a fight and then got transfer listed. He already let him leave the national team camp to come and sign for us. Not come to Italy, but like to do his medical and sign his contracts there. So that's something. But it would have been nice, if he'd have been released to come and build fitness with us. But also, if he starts tonight for France, it's as good fitness as any. It's game practice. I think that would be good if he could start that game.
Well, and it's not like he was unfit.
No.
He played a game for Marseille, right?
Yeah, he started the first game of the season, which caused.
There you go. He's good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Gazetta said something this morning along the lines of John Rowe and Rabiot were close on the field because Rabiot played left centre mid and John Rowe played left back, but they got too close in the dressing room. I quite like that. Thinking that's not how I'd describe a punch-up, but sounds like more of an affair, but whatever. Ari197 asks, if you can have one former player in each department in their prime to add to the current team, who would it be? One per department. Wow.
I think the most obvious choice right now, and this is going to blow people's mind because they think I'm a hater, but Maldini at left back, right? We fucking need someone.
Maldini anywhere on the field.
Honestly, play him right back as well. Might be more ideal.
Let's restrict it to, goalkeeper, I guess. It probably be Dida. No? Donnarumma? In his prime? Have we got... Is he in his prime?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
If we have to replace Mike.
Defense, I would like a world-class centre-back. So, I'd say Maldini, definitely. Versatility.
Maldini,
Get him left centre-back in this system, be perfect.
Yeah, get rid of fucking Pavlovich. That'd be great.
But Nesta would also be nice.
Yeah.
If you wanted someone who was perhaps a bit more modern, if you have concerns about how these guys would have stacked up in the modern game and all that shit. I don't personally, I think reading of the game is the most important thing that you can have. But yeah, he would be a shout. I think Thiago Silva in his prime, we'd all love to have back too.
Yeah.
Midfield, Modric.
So many choices. Yeah, Modric in his prime, man. That'd be filthy. Bring back the Seedorf. Yeah, that's a good pick as well.
Yeah.
Uso. He's a guy.
In attack, I'm going to go with... I know we've had more prolific goal scorers such as Shevchenko and Marco Van Basten. I think Van Basten might be the answer, actually.
Yeah, that's what
in terms of my worries about the rest of our attack and in terms of generating service, maybe Ibra. I think if you stick Ibra up there, all of a sudden our attack looks like it commands respect. Whereas if you put Sheva in there, I'm like, where's the service coming from?
Yeah. And that's probably how this would fail, is the service. But I'm going to throw a pick out there because no one's thinking it. Because he played with us for 6 months and he didn't do well. And the last couple of years prior to him coming to us were also not good. But in his prime, I'm going with Fernando Torres.
Oh wow, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way to do this actually, is alternative answers.
Yeah. I mean, give me prime Michael Essien. We had him for a few months too.
Oh god, yeah. That would be a belter.
Dude, just imagine the
Question.
team we could build if we had the prime version of players we sign in the late stages of their career.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be something pretty special. Schulz, good pod idea. Yeah, Schulz, having just been in the States, he means me, I guess. What do you think is the biggest thing that bars here could learn from pubs in the UK? And is there anything you wish you could get adopted over there? So I guess he's like, what would we swap about our drinking establishments? What am I gonna say? What do you think I'm gonna say?
Tipping culture.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a bit wild to me. Yeah, that sort of extends beyond bars. I get it now, having sort of been exposed to it enough. But yeah, that night where just ran out without tipping the poor bloke. But that was more like a lack of realization because we'd done part card, part cash. But anyway, we went in there and we rectified it. That guy got like $15. So, what would I change? What would I like over here? I think I would like more pubs over here to be centered around showing sport rather than gastro pubs. I think over here there's way too many pubs that are like veering more towards restaurant than being somewhere that does drinks. I'd like more places that have the neon signs, that have 12 TVs showing whatever game you want. And I think in the US they have more of a sitting at the bar culture, whereas in pubs regulars have their spot, like they go and sit at that table or whatever. I quite like the sitting at the bar thing. I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, and then what would I cheaper pints maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, no, I know the answer to this. So what I change about yours that we have is table service. Don't need it. Just go to the bar and order. Fine.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I don't like table service. I like going to the bar and ordering, which I know sounds backwards because it's like you don't have to move or whatever, but you can be left waiting for a bill for drinks, and I just, no, I'd rather just sort of pay as I'm going. And sometimes when you're at the bar, it makes things easier if like they've just had a beer run off or whatever. They can just tell you there and then, like, I need to change this. Do you want to switch? Whereas they'd have to come over to the table, tell you, like, what else have you got? Yeah. So I'm more of a,
I think, and I guess I know the question was directed towards you, but for me, I would add tabs to British bars. I know you don't understand it or you don't like it, but I like the idea of not having to grab my card out every single beer. If we're having a good time, we're having 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, however many. I don't want to have to cash out each time. Like, just at the end of the night, look, you know how many I got. Just run it.
Yeah. You can set up tabs here. So like my mum and dad go to the same pub pretty much every week, and they will just open a tab. They'll say, "Can we just pay at the end?" And they do that. But they keep like
they keep
it on the till, and it's not like printed out, and then you have to add your tip and sign it and that kind of thing. It's just like a card machine, and then you pay up. So I think if you're a regular somewhere, you can do that, but it's more of a based on trust thing because some people will just fuck off without paying.
Because there's some bars here that you swipe your card and they'll keep it, which I don't like because it's 2025. You don't have to do that. There's a lot now that you can just swipe it, they give it back to you, and then it's just left open. And then at the end of the night, if you did forget to pay, if you left for whatever reason because you had too many, it just closed.
Money.
Yeah.
So that was our first experience when we came to Chicago. We went to like a similar place to the one that we met up in the first night, where it was like down some stairs and there were no windows, but there were loads of sport on. And I had to hand my card over for the thing, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't got my card now until I leave." I thought that was a bit strange, but just the way.
And you will forget it at least once a year. It happens,
Yeah, and also I sound like I'm really moaning there. I love USA like city bars and I think that's the one thing about pub culture here is that it can become quite homogenous. Like you can get quite a lot of the same type, especially here in London, because you've got to do certain stuff just to stay open. I love experiencing different types of places to go and drink. Like, I'm not moaning about it at all. Ben Dixon, final question, then we'll wrap her up. Considering the squad as it is today, fully fit, in brackets. Who do you think would have been the best / the most fun option we could have hired this summer in terms of manager? Best and most fun is two interesting questions. So yeah, I'm saying we couldn't have hired Conte. I'm going to say that. So I actually think best probably is Allegri for the moment that we were in. You know, he's the next, perhaps that little level below Conte.
Right.
But in terms of bringing in a stabilizer who knows how to win in Italy, that was perhaps certainly the most sensible option.
Mm-hmm.
But then the most fun.
Most fun might have been Gattuso. Bring him back. Because his personality is going to... Yeah. I mean, as we've seen this international break, it creates some wild games.
That game last night was something else.
Didn't even watch it, and I was excited.
Yeah. Most fun, probably the most fun option for us in terms of someone we could realistically go out and get whenever we want. The most fun option for a while will be De Zerbi, right? In terms of it will just be chaos. Like he seems to like fighting. His players like fighting. The style of football is a bit all over the place. I think that's probably the most redeeming thing about him is that everywhere he's been so far, he seems to have done a good job and played a progressive style. I mean, you could make an argument for like Ange might be quite mad in Syria, but it really didn't work in Premier League, at least. Although they did end up winning a trophy. Fun could also be something a bit mad, like bring Abate back to be the first team coach. Imagine that.
Nightmare.
He's just playing like 6 Primavera players.
Yeah. I'd pull a Maddie and just miss every episode. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, that. Let us know your thoughts on all the questions that we've just answered there. Good to get a bit of discussion going. We're going to be back early next week to recap the Bologna game, of course, and preview the Udinese one, is it I said?
Sure.
And later this week, we are going to be doing something for the bonus pod, at least provisionally. The topic will be an analysis of our 2025-26 wage bill and also looking back at how our wage bill in general has increased and in some cases decreased under Redbird's ownership. So yeah, stay tuned for that later in the week. But yeah, I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. Find me on Twitter at Ollie Fisher. AJ, cheers for joining.
Yep, I'll be here.
Have a fantastic week, everyone.